Hello and welcome to ITV Calendar.
Yes, hello, good evening. Here are tonight's main stories.
Storm Lilian sweeps in. Leeds Festival bears the brunt of 70-mile-an-hour winds with delays, tents blown away and 3 stages forced to completely close.
Tents were flying off in the morning, like straight flying over the hills over there.
We'll be live at Bramham and we'll have the latest around the rest of the region with road, rail and power networks all disrupted.
Yes, I'll be taking a look at those gusts associated with Storm Lilian and that brief but intense windy spell this morning. And of course, I'll have your full forecast for the long weekend.
Also on the programme this evening. A man's charged with the murder of Sheffield parcel delivery driver Claudio Carroll Condor.
Bank holiday bragging rights at stake at Hillsborough with the first Yorkshire derby of the season. And
the band, whose lead singer battled leukemia, prepares to take to the stage in front of their hometown crowd.
so first tonight to the storm that really packed a punch this morning as parts of the region woke up to fallen trees, which caused pockets of chaos on the roads and railways.
People travelling by plane, train and automobile were all affected, and more than 60,000 homes and businesses were left without power as Storm Lilian swept through the north of England.
Yes, well, let's head first to Leeds Festival, which bore the brunt of the stormy weather and where Katie Oscroft has spent the day. We can join her live. Some pretty incredible scenes there today, Katie, with some stages completely closed. What's the latest?
Well, Ian, speaking to people here today, I've heard the word carnage used many times. The wind was so severe that campers were told this morning to stay in or with their tents. People arriving by car advised not to get out of them. There were trees, there were fences down, and this all caused delays getting into the site. But the stage, and some artists got the call to say the stage they expected to perform on simply was too unsafe to carry on.
Waking up to 60-mile-an-hour winds battering the campsites across Bramham Park. Some tents blew away, others wrapped around their owners. In scenes described as carnage, fences were brought down. The site went into lockdown for several hours this morning, with new arrivals forced to wait outside.
Tents were flying off in the morning, like straight flying over the hills over there. I have to buy new tents in the morning because what else can you do?
It was quite scary. Like you're laying there not knowing whether your tent would be flying off or, yeah, it was scary.
So early in the morning we heard a change in the wind and we looked out and the tent that should have been attached to the van was no longer attached to the van.
At 6 o'clock this morning it was chaos. Tents just flying across.
There were people just lying on top of their tents in the morning and stuff, but it was too much.
What was it like?
Windy.
Traumatic.
Yeah, it was not good. Every other person's tent was flying around us and we were just kind of hoping for the best.
Yeah.
In 20 years of trading here, Charlie has never seen anything like this.
It's really affected us, in all honesty. Our shop got destroyed overnight. Behind the lorry, as you can see, all of the staff's tents destroyed and gone. 100%, we've actually sold out of tents. We sold out of tent pegs as well, which is a crazy thing. In 20 years, we've never ever sold out of tent pegs, but I guess the wind has made that happen.
And as campers battle to keep hold of their tents, some sheltered with the festival angels on site to offer help.
Wind really came around about 4 o'clock. Tents started flying all over, poles started snapping. And our campsite was a bit of a wreck, really. We lost our sign on the roof. But yeah, so we've been around today helping people with putting their tents back together.
Performers were affected too. The main stage opening was delayed. One whose act was cancelled because of this apologised to his fans.
Unfortunately, I've got some bad news that we're not going to be playing Leeds Fest today. The weather isn't on our side and the safety of our fans comes first. We're absolutely gutted.
3 stages will remain closed today as repairs were carried out on site before festival goers were allowed in. Organisers describe this as a tough morning, but are putting a brave face on a chaotic day.
Yes, well, thankfully the weather has calmed down a bit, Katie. So what have organisers said about the rest of the day and the rest of the festival?
Well, Lara, the organisers have spent today putting a brave face on it, really. You might be able to hear, but the main stage is underway. They are insisting that the 3 stages that were closed will be fully operational tomorrow, but it's taken an awful lot of work throughout today to get this show back on the road.
Absolutely. Katie, thank you very much, live from Leeds.
Well, music fans at Leeds Festival weren't the only ones left feeling the effects of Storm Lilian.
In parts of North and West Yorkshire, trees came down, homes and businesses were without power, and there was huge disruption to the rail network. Here's Matt Price.
It took decades to grow, but seconds for Mother Nature to tear down. High winds in Horsforth causing a blockage on Broadgate Walk.
I've often moaned about how much mess of it makes on my car, but it's sad to see it come down.
This tree fell just yards from Peter's home, a lucky escape, but a loss nonetheless.
I think they're old special trees and they're a part of a feature of this road, so it's sad. And there's a few that have already, I think, had to be taken down because they've got rot.
A yellow wind warning was in place for much of the morning. Storm Lilian brought gusts of up to 60 miles an hour, bringing down power lines. Helen and her shop in Spofforth were among those affected. They had to turn trade away because they couldn't take card.
Came to work this morning, power on, 7:15, power off. So I've got no electric to do hot sandwiches, can't really open the fridges, can't use the tills.
We've had a number of customers off supply, around 75,000 in total. The main area that has been impacted is our Yorkshire licence area. So we are busy mobilising all of our North East teams to move down to Yorkshire to support customers who are still without power there.
Leeds Brewery Northern Monk experienced beer can chaos, empty tins taking off in the wind. This trampoline was up and then down, seen here being flung over fences in Bradford. The ITV calendar garden wasn't immune either, this tree falling just yards from TV Centre. Holidaymakers landing at England's highest airport, Leeds Bradford, were back down to earth with a bump. Only 3 flights were cancelled or diverted. It was a different story on the trains, though.
TransPennine Express and Northern Services particular on the Harrogate line, have suffered because of some trees that came down in the Harrogate area this morning. That's all now being resolved, but those delays do knock on throughout the rest of the day.
The strong winds are expected to calm down over the weekend, meaning hopefully there'll be fewer scenes like this. Matt Price, ITV News.
Yeah, some incredible pictures there. It's hard to believe just how bad it's been for some people, actually, Kerry.
I know, it was just for such a short period of time this morning, between about 6 and 8 o'clock. But when it came, it really did come. I mean, you saw in that footage just a second ago, blue skies this morning for Maxine, but a tree down in her garden. And yeah, Paul trying to get to work. Definitely a lot of us were rerouted this morning, me as well. You know, just a mess on the Regent's Road. So how gusty did we actually get? Well, I was forecasting 50 to 60, and that's pretty much what happened quite widely across the region during the course of this morning. These are our max gusts for this morning, but they generally happened at around 7 a.m. And you can see Emily Moore nearly 70 miles an hour, but we're talking about the airport there. I think at 7 minutes past 7 this morning, there was an 82 mile an hour gust. So that it's an extreme, but it's really quite unusual for this time in the summer months.
It is unusual, is it?
Well, yeah, well, we have named storms, we have low pressure systems, but it wouldn't be typical for me to forecast a 70, 80 mile an hour winds. I've been asked questions of, you know, is this going forward what we could expect? And so certainly with the strength of our storms, we'd expect, you know, we'd be looking at sea surface temperatures and our jet stream, and with our warming climate, you know, there is an indication that, you know, those can change, and the strengthening of our storms will be what we're looking at going forward rather than the frequency. So it's the intensity. And again, I guess it's extreme weather conditions.
So in the short term, are we out of the woods now, so to speak?
I mean, everything happened this morning for a couple of hours. It's still been very gusty. Emily Moore, this lunchtime was still 50 miles an hour. But over the weekend, it's going to be blustery, I think, and very, very mixed. But we will see some sunshine. I'll show you this for Monday because this low pressure system was going to come in on Monday, but it looks like staying away. And actually next week, maybe highs into the mid-20s. So there is joy on the horizon.
There's a bit of good news. We'll hear from you later. Thank
for sure.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kerry. Now then, thanks for being with us on Calendar. Stay with us because still to come before the end of the programme.
Yes, it's bracing here at Bramham Park, but you know what? The sun is shining, there's music in the air, and there's still thousands of festival goers that are ready to have a great time. I'll be meeting some of them and some of the local bands ready to storm the stage.
So I'm here at Sheffield Wednesday, prepared to take on Leeds in a Yorkshire derby.
OK, but first, a bit of news to bring you now. Video footage has been released of the moment that a teenager carried out a frenzied glass attack on a 12-year-old girl in a school reception in Sheffield.
The 17-year-old launched the attack after posting a series of messages on social media saying, "Today is the day," and warning a member of staff not to attend work.
The boy was sentenced at Sheffield Crown Court this afternoon. Emma Wilkinson has been following the case for us. And Emma, this really does sound like an incredibly distressing attack.
Yes, so much so we've chosen not to show the footage in full, but even still, I should say some people may find the pictures and details disturbing. This was 17-year-old Lewis Malott entering the grounds of Burley Academy, his former school, in May. What you can't see is that he has a shard of broken glass hidden up his sleeve. The CCTV pictures released this afternoon show Malott talking to a receptionist before turning and attacking his young victim. He then turns his attention on a school youth worker who stepped in to try and restrain him, and the school receptionist who said she thought she was going to die. The judge praised both for their incredible bravery today, saying that without a thought for their own safety, they went forward to protect school children.
Well, Emma, this must have been traumatic for the whole school.
Yes, it sent the school into lockdown with children hiding in classrooms and under tables. I reported from there on that day and there was a crowd of terrified parents outside the school, desperate to know their children were OK. Thankfully, no one was seriously injured, but Malott was found guilty of 3 counts of attempting to cause grievous bodily harm. He'd already pleaded guilty to 2 counts of wounding with intent and possession of a sharply pointed article on school premises. Today, he was sentenced to 5 years in youth detention and an extended 5 years on licence once he's released.
OK, Emma Wilkinson, thanks very much for bringing us up to date there, live from our newsroom.
Yes. Meanwhile, a man has appeared in court charged with the murder of a parcel delivery driver who died while trying to stop his van from being stolen in Leeds. Claudio Carol Condo died in the Wortley area of the city on Tuesday. Flowers have been laid at the scene in his memory. 32-year-old Mike Ross from Conference Road in Armley appeared at Leeds Magistrates Court this morning. He's due back at Crown Court on Tuesday.
The average household energy bill is to rise by 10% in October after the market regulator said it was increasing its price cap for winter. Ofgem says that global political tensions and extreme weather events are the main factors behind the rise. In a moment, I'll be asking a consumer champion whether there's anything we can do to bring down the costs. But first, Lara has more.
Thank you, Ian. Yes, a 10% energy price cap means that the average household will see bills go up by £149. That's from £1,568 to £1,717, or around £12 per month. Now, those reliant on using gas will see the biggest increase. So while electricity sees a 9.6% rise per unit, it's 14% for gas. However, it's around £117 cheaper than the cap in October last year, which was set at £1,834. Now, the energy price cap is the maximum amount that your provider can charge per kilowatt of energy. So along with a standing charge, which is the flat rate, just to connect your home to the grid. Now, it's not a cap on your overall bill, so remember that. The more that you use, the more you will be charged. Ian.
Yes, Laura, but can we do anything about it? Well, earlier I spoke to consumer champion Helen Dewdney, who you may have seen online as the self-proclaimed complaining cow. I began by asking her what her reaction was to the impending increase.
I think it's probably much the same as everybody else. Oh, just as we thought we were all coming down, and now it's a shock and oh no, it's winter, it's going to cost us even more as we use more energy.
One MP, the York MP, Rachel Maskell, Labour MP, has been critical of her own government withdrawing winter fuel payments, saying that no one should be left cold this winter. But is there any government support or any other help available at the moment for households struggling to pay for their energy bills?
Well, you still will be able to get that allowance if you're on pension credit, and there's about 800,000 people at the moment who are not on pension credit who are entitled to it. So do check your benefit calculators online and see if you are entitled to any benefits, particularly pension credit, because then you will get that fuel allowance. And certainly contact your energy company to see if they've got anything available, but also they have to help you. If you are looking like you're going to go into debt or you're going to have difficulty, they have to help you with those payments. Contact organisations like Citizens Advice, Turn to Us, Step Change, National Deadline, because they will help you with your finances and planning your finances and prioritising and budgeting, but also be able to give you details on any grants that might be available in your local area.
And finally, it's a big question. Should we be trying to fix a deal with our energy providers now?
It is a difficult one to look at because, who knows what's going to happen. But it may be worth looking at just for a year, because if you go for 3 years, anything could happen in 3 years' time. So look for a tariff that's a year long and that's around the price at the moment. So then at least for the first 3 months at least, you'll be paying less than the rise that we're going to see.
Good advice. Thank you very much indeed, Helen, for joining us. Thank you.
Well, it's time for some sport now. West meets South at Hillsborough tonight.
Xero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Yes, the first Yorkshire derby of the season takes place this evening as Sheffield Wednesday welcome rivals Leeds United.
Other than the obvious bragging rights on offer, both teams are after some much-needed points. Now, the Owls are looking to bounce back after suffering a heavy 4-0 defeat last weekend, while Leeds are looking to ignite their campaign with the first win of the season.
Well, Arif Ahmed is live at Hillsborough for us this evening. And what should we expect tonight, Arif?
Well, evening, Ian. Well, the atmosphere is building really nicely here at Hillsborough. You know it's a big game when you see some big names arriving early, the likes of Eddie Gray, comedian John Richardson and Howard Wilkinson. Well, one legend we managed to keep back from getting in so early is John Newsom, who's played for both teams. John, great to see you this evening.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. And, Sheffield Wednesday, how confident will they be coming into tonight's game?
I think Sunday's game up at Sunderland was a bit of a reality check. I was here against Plymouth and it was bouncing. They had a really good start to the season. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Everybody knows, Leeds have had a fantastic season last season. Not started so great this season. So Yorkshire derby is going to be a big tough one.
And for Leeds, they've lost a lot of players. They've had a new player coming in, Ramazani. He won't be featuring tonight. The manager asked for a little less conversation, a little more action, quoting Elvis. You need to see some action from his players, doesn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. I think he got a reaction on at the weekend against West Bromwich Albion. The start of the season's not been the one that they were looking for. 3-3 home draw and then getting turned over in the cup against Middlesbrough. So yeah, he wants to see a reaction. And there's a lot of talk about players who leave and that kind of stuff. But if you're still at the football club, you're getting paid to wear that shirt. Then you've got to go out and represent them. And so, yeah, I think he's right in calling him and saying he wants a bit more action out on that pitch.
And just finally, what's it like, Yorkshire derby, under the lights, playing in a game like this?
Gets no better. I'm very lucky that I go to a lot of games, but there's not many that I go to and I think I won't mind pulling my boots on. But tonight's one of those games where you think, you get the taste, you smell it, and I really wouldn't mind pulling my boots on and having a go tonight.
And I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you who's going to win, but both teams really need the win tonight, don't they?
Big game, really tough game, yeah. Probably if you're going to choose it as a Sheffield Wednesday fan, it's probably the best time to play Leeds, but off the back of Sheffield Wednesday's defeat on Sunday, Leeds will be thinking, can they come here and nick something as well? So, yeah, it's all to play for both sides. So, yeah, massive game ahead.
Thank you very much, John. We'll let you get inside and enjoy the game. Well, how can you build up any more? Yorkshire derby under the lights on a Friday night. Should be a good one.
I'll tell you what, Arif, I'm so excited I could almost put my boots on myself. Thank you.
Exciting stuff.
Definitely. Now then, let's end the programme as we began it, because the show, as they say, Must go on.
Yes, after the stormy weather this morning forced 3 Leeds Festival stages to close, the party has now well and truly started. Adam Fowler is in the thick of things at Bramham Park, where Adam really does like to be.
Can you hear me? Does anybody know?
We can definitely hear you, Adam, so take it away if you can.
Right, so
having one
we
or
can
two
see
problems.
him, can't we?
I wonder if that comes down to the wind, actually. A few of the sound problems
yes.
there.
I can tell you that the vibes here are good. Are you receiving me leads? The vibes here are good. I can confirm that, giving it the old finger test, the wind has died down here and people are determined to have a good time. Glastonbury's got its mud. Today, Leeds Festivals has had its wind, but I've been meeting people determined to make the best of it. Here we go.
I feel like it brings everyone more together and people want to enjoy it more, because like when it's nearly taken away, because they could have shut. Oh my god, speaking of.
I'm a Leeds boy, but Lizzie here's a Reading gal.
I'm a converted Leeds girl now.
Yeah.
Our tent stayed down, which is always positive.
Oh yeah, 21 years ago our first game.
21 years ago?
21 years ago, 2003.
You don't look old enough, sir.
Well, thank you. Do you want us to show you our dance we've been practicing?
Yeah, do it, yeah.
Ready?
Do it. It's not often an interviewee offers to dance for you, but you know what? I'll take it every time. There's some great bands lined up over the weekend. Fontaines DC, The Last Dinner Party, they're a couple of my favourites, but there's also some brilliant local bands on as well, and I've been meeting a few of them. Here they are. It's not just about the headliners. Leeds Festival is an opportunity to shine a light on local bands, like Ella from Halifax, Near Archives from Bradford, and Delilah Bonn is from Barnsley.
I wanna play Barbies in my room, wanna play Barbies like a kid, wanna get lost in my own fantasy and never ever.
She's been singing and producing her own music since the age of 12.
It's gonna be very energetic, rather crazy, feral energy, fun and empowering. It's super important because I think I've played festivals in Europe and I've played festivals around the UK, and this is probably the most local one for me. So being up there and being on the introducing stage and getting to just represent Barnsley and represent what I do, it means everything.
Venus Girls met at Leeds Conservatoire in 2017, and for them, performing at the festival is particularly special.
It's just huge because from my parents' house you can hear Leeds Festival. You've always been able to hear Leeds Festival. Like all my friends, it was one of those things where you get out of high school and then everyone's going to Leeds Festival, and so it's
you go as a punter, don't you?
Absolutely,
and, you know,
for years. And then it's one of those things where when you see the lineup every year, it's like, oh, I hope we get on there one day. You know, come a little full circle.
It's it's a real bucket list moment.
But it's not just about fulfilling a childhood dream. When lead singer GK was 24, she was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. She's now in remission and will use the gig to raise awareness of how to join the stem cell register.
I just feel a huge responsibility to give back after the knowledge I was gifted, I guess, by the universe, and that how important it is, because being straight up with you, it's not something I think I knew really about before I got ill. I do feel incredibly lucky to be going when I know that there are so many people fighting for their lives at the minute.
The Leeds Festival is a showcase of talent, and thankfully, new bands will be there to be discovered, whatever the weather. Yes, you saw them in my piece just now, and I'm delighted to say the Venus Girls join us now. How are you feeling, girls?
Good. Excited.
Not long until you're on the introducing stage. Are you pumped up, excited for it?
Very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been like building up to this for a while, haven't we? You know, so yeah.
I'm ready now. It's annoying having to wait, actually.
It's like, get us on now.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, stages closed today because of the weather and everything. Was it a little bit nail-biting this morning when you woke up?
God.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. We were all sort of like looking at each other like, are we going to play this?
Is it going to happen?
Yeah.
Luckily it is.
But luckily, yeah, all full steam ahead, so yeah.
And what can people expect from your show?
Oh, lots of witchiness.
Yeah, witchiness, goth vibes, you know.
It's like a Halloween warm-up.
Yes.
That's it, yeah.
The autumnal equinox is soon, so it's ready. It's time to get a bit spooky. There's a little
classic goth banger cover in there, a little Easter egg. But yeah.
Just to get you in the mood.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I know you're raring to go, so I'm not going to keep you any longer. Break a leg. And there you go. The wind is strong, but the show must go on. Back to you.
Adam Fowler, thank you so much from Leeds.
I blame the windy weather for those little communication problems we had getting through to Adam
Well,
there, don't you?
that's what I thought it was, yeah, definitely.
We got there in the end, didn't we? That which is great.
We can get to Kerry now, though, with no problem at all. Here she is.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again. Yes, after that very wild start first thing this morning with those damaging gusts, things did improve quite rapidly across most parts of the region during the course of the day. Some big waves at high tide, but plenty of blue sky. Yes, blustery conditions, but bright for most of us. That system, Storm Lilian, out into the North Sea quite quickly this morning, leaving a lovely gap for most of us of sunny spells and just a few Pennine showers. But we do have a couple of fronts to the north and the south, and they are approaching as we head into tomorrow. So for this evening, not too bad. A few showers to western fringes. Overnight tonight, we will just see the cloud tend to thicken. The winds working their way in from a southwesterly direction, but nothing as dramatic as it was during the early part of this morning. A few showers perhaps over the Dales by dawn. Nothing too chilly. Still quite breezy. There is sometimes as we head into tomorrow, 6:02 and 8:14. Tomorrow, a bit of a cloudy start. Showers from the word go over the Dales and possibly the Pennines. The risk of some showers further south into parts of North Nottinghamshire initially, but the showers win over with the sunny spells as the day progresses. In the sunshine, in shelter from the breeze, it won't feel too bad, but temperatures are a little below the average, and some of those showers could be heavy and possibly thundery. Not too bad again by evening, and then as we head into Sunday, should be a decent start. Dry, bright and breezy again, but you can see showers maybe merging to longer spells of rain, trying to push in to western fringes. And then it does look better as we head into Monday. The rain to the west is holding off, so for many of us it will be dry and bright, and looking ahead, warming up from midweek.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
There you go, definitely a little bit of something for everyone this holiday weekend. But check this out, looking on the bright side of a summer storm, an extra large twig. There you go.
That's a big stick.
There are plenty of sticks around for all dogs, yes, that's for sure.
Have a great bank holiday weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.